Hey folks, Phil the Bee-Man here. It is a beautiful warm day today. We've had a few in a row. My shed is getting close to being too warm. I got 9 Celsius this end of the barn, 8 at the other. I'm still running on one fan. That darn fan has never come back, and the new replacement is back ordered. So I think, I'm going to look at the forecast, and I think I might have to retrofit some cockamamie thing tomorrow. But we're holding steady for now. It's results day for the first round of OAV in the high mite count hives, with 1 week after the Apivar strips went in. So that's the main thing today. I just wanted to show how the hives start to poke out as they get a little bit warm. And I know I've been boring some of you with my logic videos. My students have been asking to get access to those old videos. I couldn't be bothered to set up another channel. So it's a separate playlist. Should be easy to keep them separate. But and it wouldn't do some of us beekeepers a little good to you can smarten up on our logic once in a while, but that's 30 minutes at a stretch is probably more than most of us really want. I respect that, but I want to put those somewhere, and this is an easy place to put them. It wouldn't hurt some of those students to do a little beekeeping too. So hopefully we get a little bit of cross-pollination on that. For pulling these paper stickies, I find this be useful. It's just I think it's the top or the bottom off probably tomatoes or bell peppers or something from a grocery store. I cut off one end, but the sides still make it pretty steady. So I'm going up and down ladders. I don't worry about losing track of those stickies. So I slide them out onto that. Seems to work pretty well. I'm gonna go up the ladder there and pull 4 out from there, and I've got 2 more down here for a total of 6 hives from our high mite counts. Okay, let's go. Tempting when you see hives like that with bees out the front to run around with a bee sucker and take some samples and mark those. Probably would find that the hives with the most bees have the least mites, and it seems to me that would be fallacy of bias statistics for those of you who've watched my logic videos. And I got some down here. These ones were stacked up high, but I got in here with the forklift and rearranged some hives to have access to more sampling. Still trying to find enough high mite hives to do an oxalic gelatin type test, but don't have the hives yet. Okay, let's go out into the light and see what these look like. Okay, so just to remind ourselves, and this is still our initial feasibility kind of experiment. but we had 6 hives that we found that had some positive mites. We had H2, we had 9 mites in a 200 bee sample. H14, 4 mites in a 200 bee sample. H15 with only 1 mite. H16, we sampled both the top bars and the snout. We found roughly, 5 bees in the top sample, 6 bees in the snout sample. H17, we found 30 bees in the top bars, or 30 mites, and then we took a sample out of the snout, and that was only 5 mites. H25 found only, didn't find any mites in the sample. Then when we blasted with oxalic, that first H2, we found 8 mites after 1 week, none in the second week. H14, 11 mites on the sticky after 1 week, only 1 on the second. 16 mites on H15 and then none. And then these 2 really high mites, 198 and then 4 for a total of 222. And then H17, 212 and then 26 for a total of 238 mites on those 2. And then H25, we only knocked down 3 mites between the 2 weeks. So I've got kind of thinking of it this way. We've got 2 hives with high percentages, 3 hives with low percentages, and 1 hive with kind of, some. And now what we're expecting is that all of these hives would now give us if we had effective treatment, that we would see roughly similar mite drops. There'd be relatively small numbers, maybe none, and showing that these ones that had high mite levels on the earlier drops are now giving us low drops, if our treatment was effective. That's kind of what we're testing. So without further ado, let's count some mites. This is H25. Pretty dirty board. Might reflect the fact that it's been a bit warmer and the bees are a bit more active. But I don't actually see any mites there at all. Better write that down. H25 was one of our low mite hives, and that a big fat 0. Next one, H2, also a low mite hive. By golly, I don't see any there either. Huh. Okay. 0. Oh, great. This one isn't labeled. That's the one that was hanging out the front. You can see by the crease. The rest are H16, H15, H17. So that's 14. Okay. Well, by jigger, I don't see any mites on there either. Okay, now we're into it here. H15. No mites. That was one of the hives with the high mites. Here's another one. Oh, now we got some mites here. There's one. Another one. Another one. Another one here. Another one here. Another one there. One, two, three, four, five, six. And H17. This is another high mite counter originally. This is the one that had the most mites on the original. Okay. One there. One there. Oop, I knocked it over. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there's a bunch. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quite a bunch. Well, if we were hoping for super nice clear results, we might think, good thing you've already started a secondary trial, Phil, so that we don't count on this one hive screwing everything up. One, two, three, four. We got at least 100 here. Let's go across this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 162, 63, 64, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70, 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 80, 91, 92, 81, 82, 83. I'll probably want to count those again, but we'll go with 83 for now. All right, let's see what we got here. So it's really you know, only these hives where they had trace amounts of mites, you know, 8 mites found after 2 weeks after oxalic, or 12 or 16. We didn't knock down any mites with the Apivar. This hive here that had 222 mites before is H16, and then we only knocked down 6 more. And then the other hive, H17, 238, and then we knocked down somewhere north of 80 the second time. So that's, you know, if that's all the mites that are left, that gives us, you know, 80, if we think 240, 80, so that's a third left. Third of the total amount of the mites were knocked down with the Apivar, compared to this, which is, you know, that's a massive success rate. So interesting to know, is this resistant? And it should have knocked down 80 mites, but didn't? Or is this a treatment failure? That's why I've got doing 8 more hives to try to make sure that we have something like that. Except most of the hives in the next trial aren't these massive numbers. I didn't find any more with this kind of. Let's have a look at that real quickly. Where's that data? So I've got 8 hives in the next trial, and all of them, the most any of them gave me in top bar test was 3 mites on a 200B sample, so we're like 1.5%. Whereas this H17, you know, was giving us, we don't know if it was 5. Well, you know, if it's those, that one gave us 5 mites on a top bar sample, so only a couple more. And it turned out to have really high mites. I'm thinking some of these will have high mites. And so basically it's that same test. We find the ones that have a whole bunch of mites on the sticky boards, and then when we then come back with Apivar, do we get another high mite drop, or do we get a low mite drop? Low mite drop shows ineffectiveness, effective treatment, as long as we don't think we have Apivar resistance. So the follow-up to all of this has to be to go into those hives and do another real good acid wash or alcohol wash to make sure I'm not leaving mites behind. But you know, if you can knock down 2/3 of your mites, and those ones with the high mites, I guess, I mean, it's nice if we can save them, but really what we're trying to do is keep those mites hammered down below that 1% range. So the other important test is to flag these hives and then make sure they come out of winter alive. It's just the beginning, well, it's kind of second week of February, so they've got 3 weeks of February, and then probably 4 weeks in March, so we've got 7 more weeks inside in a normal winter. So they got along. So if that oxalic has harmed them, those hives will pume. So I think that's making sure I keep track of those and compare their losses to the rest of the colonies. Will be an important part of this test to make sure that I'm not blowing my operation up by blowing that in there. Okay, that's it for tonight. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great day.